This is Surah An-Nur, chapter Light. And hundreds of times in the past, you would have read this ayah and would have understood ayah according to your own philosophies or according to whatever tafasir you would have learned from authentic and unauthentic sources. But for the first time during this course, we will try to understand what God exactly means when He says God is the light of the land and the sky. God is the light of the heaven and earth. What exactly does it mean? Now, this ayah explains explains this so eloquently, so beautifully, that it's almost mind-boggling. So now the God said, Allahu nuru samawati wa ma fil ard. God is the light of heaven and earth. And then, masalu nurihi. اللہ زمین و آسمان کا نور ہے. مثل نورہ, and the example of how He is light of the heaven and earth is, and the example of how God is light of the heaven and earth is kamishkatin فیہا مصباح المصباح فی زجاجۃ. اب اللہ یہ فرما رہا ہے، پہلے تو اس نے فرمایا کہ اللہ کا نور ہے زمین اور آسمانوں میں. تو ہم ادھر ادھر ڈھونڈتے رہے، کہاں ہے بھی اللہ کا نور؟ زمین پہ تو ہم چل رہے ہیں، وہاں تو ملا نہیں. آسمانوں پہ بھی جہاز میں بیٹھ کے چلے جاتے ہیں، وہاں بھی نہیں ملا. ہے کہاں؟ وہ کہہ رہا ہے کہ اس کی مثال یہ ہے اس کے نور کی کہ جیسے ایک یعنی چمنی ہے، اس میں ایک چراغ جل رہا ہے. اللہ نور السماوات کیا ہو گیا؟ جیسے ایک چمنی ہے، یعنی ایک فلاسک ہوتا ہے نا، ایک چمنی ہے، اس میں ایک لیمپ روشن ہے. The example of God being light of the heaven and earth is that there is a flask of glass, and inside that flask is a lit up lamp. اچھا، اب جو ہے جیسے کہ میں نے عرض کیا تھا کچھ دنوں پہلے کہ میں بڑے جید علماء اکرام جن کو میں عالم مانتا ہوں ان کی تفاسیر کے حوالے سے بیان کروں گا. تو یہاں پر امام جلال الدین سیوطی رحمۃ اللہ علیہ نے اس کی تفسیر فرمائی ہے. تفسیر جلالیین، صفحہ نمبر ہے 37، جس کو شوق ہو جا کر کے پڑھ لے. کہ اس کی مثال جو ہے مثلو نورہ کمشکاتٍ، اس کی مثال جو ہے اس میں فرماتے ہیں مثلو نورہ کمشکاتٍ فیہا مصباح این صفتہ فی قلب المؤمن. یعنی جلال الدین سیوطی رحمۃ اللہ علیہ نے فرمایا ہے کہ اس آیا میں جو مصباح کا ذکر کیا ہے اس سے مراد ہے مومن کا قلب. اس سے مراد ہے مومن کا قلب. اب پڑھیں کہ اللہ زمین و آسمان کا نور ہے. اور اللہ کس طرح زمین و آسمان کا نور ہے؟ اس طرح کہ جیسے مومن کے دل میں اس میں ذات اللہ کا چراغ جل رہا ہے. یہی ہے اللہ نور السماوات و ما فی الارض. اللہ نور السماوات و ما فی الارض کا مطلب کیا ہوا؟ کہ مومن کے قلب میں اس میں ذات اللہ کا چراغ ہے. اس آیا میں جو فرسٹ جو ایڈریسی ہے، جن کو مخاطب کیا گیا ہے، वो हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की ज़ात है। क्या है? हुजूर नबी पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की ज़ात है। तो अल्लाह ने ये हुजूर को मद्देनजर रखते हुए फरमाया है कि अल्लाहु नूरुस समावात व मा फिल अर्द, कि अल्लाह ज़मीन और आसमान का नूर है। ये किस तरह है? इस तरह है जैसे मोहम्मद के सीने में इसमें ज़ात का चराग रोशन है। तो हुजूर के कल्ब का इसमें ज़ात के चराग से मुनव्वरो मुज़य्यन होना अल्लाह के नूरुस समावात होने से ताबीर है। अब चूंकि हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का बातिन ये है, लिहाजा ये मोमिनों के लिए सुन्नत बन गया ना, तो मोमिनों पर आ गई ये बात। ये क्या हुआ? ये मोमिनों के लिए सुन्नत। अब जरा आप देखें कि मोमिन का जो कल्ब है उसकी गहराई, how profound a spiritual heart is. I mean, you have to joggle your mind in order to sustain all this enormous amount of secrets that are flowing away. Allahu nurus samawat wa ma fil ard. Allahu nurus samawat wal ard. कि ज़मीन और आसमान में जो अल्लाह का नूर है वो है कहां? वो है कहां? पहले हुजूर के कल्ब में, फिर जो सुन्नत रसूल पर अमल पैरा होगा उसका दिल भी हुजूर के दिल की तरह मुनव्वर होगा। अच्छा, अब ये तो जमीन पर है, समावात का नूर कहां से आएगा? फिर जब इस कल्ब के जुस्से निकल के आसमानों में जाएंगे, अल्लाह का नूर आसमानों में जाएगा ना। अल्लाहु नूरुस समावात व मा फिल वल अर्द. God is the light of heaven and earth. Masalu nurihi, and the example of his light is like a flask of glass, and there is a lamp light up. And Jalaluddin Sayyuti rahmatullah alayhi said, this misbah is related and referred to the spiritual heart. It is referred to the spiritual heart. So the spiritual heart is like a lamp, and there is light inside. It's lit up. God is the light of the heavens and earth. The example of his light is like a niche, within which is a lamp. The lamp is within glass, the glass as if it were a pearly star lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree, neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil would almost glow, even if untouched by fire. Light upon light, God guides to his light whom he wills. This is the perfect example of an enlightened heart. Now, Allahu nurus samawat wal ard. Allah, the light of God, is on earth and it is also in the heavens. And the example of his light being on earth and being in the heaven constitutes on an enlightened heart. When a heart is awakened and enlightened, then that person is the true explanation of this verse. Allahu nurus samawat wal ard. God is the light of heaven and earth. And if Brother Steve doesn't have any name, you can name him. God is the light of heaven and earth. Why? Because the example of this is inside him. is inside you. Is inside you. So when you look for God's light on earth and in the heaven, don't go far off. Find a mu'min, find a Sufi. A Sufi is the perfect example who bears God's light on earth and also in the heaven when subtleties of his heart make a spiritual journey and they're connected with the other world, with the other realm. His body is here, but his heart is like a bird flying all over the esoteric realms created by God in order to furnish the hearts with love, tranquility, serenity. So this example, there are multiple examples in ahadith, but I didn't want to start with hadith for a number of reasons. Number one, Salafi, Wahhabi, Maulvi, they all want all the references from Quran. So here you go. Latifa Qalb from the Quran, and how he becomes light on earth and in the heavens. When his heart is awakened, it generates God's light, doesn't it? When God's name is implanted in your heart turns into a generator of light. Now, every time your heart is beating, word Allah is pounding with it. And it is generating God's light. So you are the source of God's light on earth and also in the heavens. When the subtleties of the spiritual heart have reached spiritual puberty and they're able to make spiritual journeys through transcendental meditation, they reach out to the other realm. And when the bird of your spiritual heart flies and reaches the realm of Malakut, it's a bird of light. Honest to God, when I first time went to Alam Malakut, and I was just sitting there, and I asked, why there are so many fireflies roaming about? And the voice said, they are not fireflies, my friend. They are hearts. They are hearts of my servants who are on earth sleeping in their bed. And their hearts are like birds flying here. And they are glowing with my light, with my energy. Now, Allahu Noor Samawat wal Ard. In your bed, in your home, your body is retiring, yet awakened. And outside of your body, one of the birds of your spiritual heart is roaming about here and there, is connected to the other world. You are present here, you're present there too. Do you not become omnipresent when you are spiritualized? When you are awakened? You're here and you're there. I mean, these are the perks of spirituality. You want to add some glamour, to attract people to become Sufi. میں بار بار اس کے اوپر زور دے رہا ہوں. اللہ نور السماوات والارض. God is the light of heaven and earth, right? But then God said, God is giving you an example. How do you see God's light on earth and in the heaven? By looking at the spiritual heart of an enlightened man. So, a zakir qalbi is true explanation of Surah An-Nur. A zakir qalbi is a true explanation of Surah An-Nur. God is the light of heaven and earth. We have heard this, we have read this hundreds of times, but did we try to understand how God is light of the world, how God is light of the earth and the heaven? Through Quran, we understand today that when a heart is enlightened, a heart is enlightened, and the light is emanating from the heart. And this light is not just one glimpse. This light is not just one tiny beam of light gifted to him. This light is being generated every time the heart is beating. This is why Allahu Nuru Samawat wal Ard. Every time the heart is beating, the name of God which was implanted by the spiritual mediator, that name of God is now in action. And it is generating God's light in abundance. So much so that it is declared to be the light of the earth and heaven by God. یعنی اتنی کثرت سے نور بن رہا ہے ایک مومن کے قلب میں کہ اللہ اس کو قرار دے رہا ہے نور السماوات والارض. زمین و آسمان میں سما رہا ہے اللہ کا نور. کہاں سے؟ ایک مومن کے قلب سے. ایک مومن کے قلب سے. اب یہ تو قرآن نے کہا ہے. حدیث کیا کہتی؟ حدیث کہتی ہے قلب مومن عرش اللہ. دوسرے میں لکھا ہے قلب مومن بیت الرب. قلب مومن عرش اللہ، قلب مومن بیت الرب. یعنی the spiritual heart is the throne of God. And the other one, قلب مومن بیت الرب. This has a little explanation. قلب مومن بیت الرب. And the spiritual heart is house of God. Now, because God didn't mention his name, he simply said Rabb. Rabb means provider. Provider. Now, God is direct provider, original provider. And then through proper channel, through messengers, through prophets, and through saints, God channels his love and his light. So the God is the sole provider. But then there are local providers. And a local provider is your spiritual mediator. Murshid Kamil. قلب مومن بیت الرب. کہ مومن کا قلب ہی وہ جگہ بھی ہے کہ جہاں اس کے مرشد کا قیام ہوتا ہے. مومن کا قلب ہی وہ جگہ ہے جہاں رب بھی رہے گا اور مرشد بھی وہاں قیام کرے گا. جب مرشد تیری تربیت کر رہا ہے اور خدا کو دل میں لانے کا ابھی تو اختیار نہیں رکھتا یا اس قابل نہیں ہوا ہے تو شیطان کو نکال کے مرشد خود تیرے دل میں رہے گا. اور جب تیری تعلیم پوری ہو جائے گی تو پھر مرشد دل کا دروازہ کھول کے اللہ کو بلائے گا کہ اب آپ آ جاؤ، میں جا رہا ہوں. قلب مومن بیت الرب. لطیفہ قلب کی افادیت، اہمیت کو سمجھنا وہ دین کی کنجی کے مترادف ہے. Significance of the spiritual heart, essentiality, cruciality, and how important it is for a Sufi to know all these functions of the heart. It is very vital. It is very important. If he doesn't know, he cannot progress. Number one, you need to know how to do it. Then number two, do it. When you go to IKEA and you buy furniture, right? Sofas or chairs or table, they're not assembled. They're, it's like DIY, do-it-yourself service. They come in a box and they give you a manual. Go home and fix it, assemble it. Right? In a similar way, you need to collect information. How to become a Sufi. And what is it that takes to become a Sufi? So knowledge of spirituality, knowledge of Sufism is very important. I'm talking about knowledge of spirituality, knowledge of Sufism, right? I'm not talking about stories of Sufis. If you buy a book and you read about Rumi and Data Ali Hajweri, and you finish the book and you think you're a Sufi, no. You read stories, my friend. The knowledge of spirituality is like a map, is like a guide, is like a manual, right? First you do this, then you do this, thereafter you do this. And when you have done all these, you will become Sufi. So the first thing in spirituality, in Sufism, is to be aware of the functions of the spiritual heart. Functions of the spiritual heart and power of the spiritual heart. And then when the spiritual heart is completely nurtured, is completely indoctrined with divinity, what will happen? How much power will your heart have to perform what length of journeys, what type of journeys? The most important thing that a heart does is that it connects you with God. It connects you with God. It's like a walkie-talkie, It's like a spiritual radio. When God had created Adam, and He decided by hook or crook, He would send him down. So what He did, He attached a wire of light to his heart. And when Adam said, I'm going down, if I needed to ask you something, how would I speak with you? And God said, through this wire, you say anything, I'll hear it. And through this wire, you will hear what I say. So there was a wire of light. And that wire of light was attached to Adam's heart. And then the sons and daughters were born, and the good ones were asking him, you have a wire, you can talk to God, what about us? How do we do? Right? Then Adam asked God, God, my children want to be in contact with you. Now, this is first time you're hearing this. It's not written in any books. People think the day one when Adam was descended, he was a prophet. Even after many years he was descended on earth, he didn't have an idea whether he was a messenger of God. He didn't know that. He just thought, oh, he made a mistake and this is why he's here. So, he didn't know he was a prophet. Does it surprise you? No. So, he asked God, my children want to be in contact with you. How do they make a contact with you? And then God said, okay. God said, wait for a suitable time. And then, for the first time, when Gabriel came to him, he hugged him, embraced him, and he enlightened the heart and placed in spiritual power, knowledge of spirituality, and everything. And then he started to teach his own children. And he told them, look, this wire of light is a gift of God. you cannot have it. You have to make your own wire of light. You have to make your own wire of light. And they said, how do we do that? We don't even know how to make light. And then he said to them, make mention the name of God. And this is how light will be generated in the heart. And that light will start mounting towards God. The day it reaches God, you will be connected with God. The day it reaches God, you'll be connected with God. So this was the first lesson of Sufism given by Adam to his sons and daughters. And the same message is in Quran. Fazkuruni azkurukum. You remember me, I will remember you. Now, let me give you an example of the dreams. You know, they say it about the dreams. What you see in the dream doesn't exactly mean what you see there. It needs interpretation, right? So many things that you see in the dream are symbolic to other things. For example, if you see a dream in which your house is falling, a wall of your house has fallen, it means you will be ill and sick. 2 walls are fallen, it means you will be severely sick. If the entire house you see is demolished in the dream, it means you're about to go home. In a similar way, many different verses in the Bible, in the Torah and in the Quran, they do not mean how they are constructed in the form of words. When God say, if you remember me, I will remember you, He means to say, if you remember me, this will generate light. It will come to me, I will remember you, I will send you light. Washkuruli, and this is how you will become my friend. Wala takfirun, do not reject this offer. Now, in relation to Surah An-Nur, Misbah, there is yet another tafsir, Tafsirul Khazan. یہ کہاں کی تفسیر ہے؟ تفسیر الخازن. According to Tafsirul Khazan, هذا تمثيل لنور قلب المؤمن. This is the example of the light of qalb of a mu'min. So according to many mufassirin who gave interpretation of the Quran, Misbah in Surah An-Nur is referred to the spiritual heart of a devout Sufi. تو جب بھی آپ پڑھیں گے اللہ نور السماوات والارض، تو اس کی مثال اللہ نے قرآن میں کیا دی ہے؟ مومن کا قلب. مولانا روم نے کہا دل بدست آور کے حج اکبرست. Now you understand, right? دل بدست آور کے حج اکبرست. If you have gained control over your heart, this is the greatest pilgrimage you will ever be able to make. The greatest pilgrimage. Dil badastawar ke hajj akbarast. Sad hazaran kaaba. Yak dil behtarast. When the heart is enlightened, Brother Steve, when the heart is enlightened, this enlightened heart is greater than 100,000 Kaaba in Mecca. Kaaba buniyade Khalil Azarast. Why heart of a mu'min is greater than 100,000 Kaabatullah? Because Kaabatullah was made with brick and cement and sand. Dil guzargah-e Jalil Akbarast. And the heart is created by God's light. And perhaps this is why Bulle Shah said, Masjid ta de, demolish a mosque. Mandir ta de, demolish ka Hindu temple. Ta de jo kuch tehanda hi. Whatever you can demolish, go ahead. Mess it up. Ik bande da dil na tami. But make sure you never demolish a spiritual heart. Rab dilan vich rehanda hai. Why? Because your heart, the spiritual heart, is the dwelling of God, is the divine domicile. Do not demolish. Do not hurt a heart. And this is how important it is. Now, as per the Surah An-Nur, Allahu nuru samawat wal ard. And then he gives example that it is about the heart of a mu'min. Now, the heart of a mu'min is like a lamp, and there is a fire of Ism Zat Allah inside it. God's name is lighting up. And it is in your body, and your entire body is enlightened because of the presence of the enlightened heart. But how do you become light of the heaven? You only become light of the heaven. You become light of the heaven when one of the subtleties of your heart is completely nurtured and has reached spiritual puberty and now is able to make a spiritual journey. Through transcendental meditation, Latifa-e-Qalb, Jussa-e-Qalb leaves your body and it lands on Alam-e-Malakut. And the beauty is, in the last minute, it doesn't lose contact. In the last minute, it doesn't lose contact. Because I asked Sarkar Gohar Shahi, Sarkar, tell me, when all the subtleties of the heart are nurtured and fully grown up, and I want to perform spiritual journeys, so what should I do? Sarkar said, your mind becomes the remote control. You just think about it, and you're there. Your thoughts will control your muraqabah. You know how swift the muraqabah is established when all the souls are nurtured in your body? You think about Alam Malakut, and you're there. So your thoughts become the remote control. And the spiritual heart, the first function of the spiritual heart is to connect you with God. This is most important function of the heart. Without activating this function of the spiritual heart, one cannot become a devout Muslim or devout Christian. Whether you follow Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, Abraham or Adam, this is first step in every religion. Why it is important? Because only through this process you are connected with God. If you are not connected with God, anything, any worship that you perform in any religion is wasted. It's futile. Once you are connected with God, now go ahead, explore more functions of the heart. This is like a phone. When the heart is enlightened, it works like a phone. Anything you say will reach God, and anything that God will say to you will land on your heart. and you will be just sitting, and a thought will come, and this will be God's answer. But if when God's reply comes in form of a thought, for the verification, the heartbeats are risen. If a thought comes to your mind or your heart, and with the thoughts, the heartbeats are not risen, it is not from God. When the thought comes to your heart or the mind, and it is from God, the heartbeats will be risen, and zikr Allah will take its speed. And you will almost become breathless. But you will be at the same time ecstatic and spiritually merry. So this is how you will judge. This is how you will determine whether the thought that is descending upon your heart is either coming from God or it's homegrown. The first function of the heart is that it is a divine communication tool. What is it? This is how you are connected with God. Without this connection, whoever you are, whatever book you read, God doesn't give a damn about you, because you're not connected to Him. Right? But once you're connected, then God doesn't want to see what books were you reading. He says, you don't need them now. You're connected to me. That's enough. You have plenty of books around you, but you're not connected to God. It's useless. But once you're connected with God and you have no books, God doesn't bother. Do you think God needs books? He sends them. You are connected to Him now, you need a book? Come on, come off it. You don't need a book. Once you're connected with God, all you need is connection with God. Now you're connected, now you will be corresponding with the divine person of God. And this correspondence will take place through the channel of your spiritual heart.
TV, bringing light, love, and peace in your life.